At the end of the day, I don't think this was a bad episode of The Boys. What I do think is that for the second to last episode of a series, this is terrible.
All right, so let's talk about The Boys.
The Boys!
Yeah, episode 7. Let's, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna rant. So we'll go with a couple of things we liked off the bat.
All right. We'll start with good. Fine.
That was Sam Jackson as Xander the Shark, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, see? There's something good there.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid ass simian toe in the water, anywhere. An ocean, a stream, a fucking puddle. On God, son, you're dead. We're gonna kill you.
Yeah, which you shouldn't be surprised at, because Tilda Swinton was the octopus?
Yeah.
In her earlier season.
I heard his voice and I was immediately like, fire.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you know what? I like the Soldier Boy Homelander scene. Yeah, I did. Because we're finally gonna stop pretending like this is not just a setup for Vault Rising.
That's what this is for, by the way, this discussion right here.
And then the last really good thing I want to talk about is Kamiko's ADR is not bad in this one at all.
She barely talks.
Yeah, she barely talks, but her ADR is
She's just screaming.
has always been an actual problem in earlier episodes, and I won't be surprised if Prime re-edits and puts the episodes back out there, but it was not bad in this episode. Do you have anything positive you want to say before we just unleash on this episode?
Well, wow. Do I have positive stuff? Okay.
Sam Jackson.
Yeah. No, I do like Huey. Okay. I think Huey and Butcher tied up in the room being interrogated by Synapsis. Synapse, whatever. I think that was a really awesome change of pace to watch them actually work together again. And I thought that was actually really smart, the way Huey got out of that situation by thinking about all the horrible things about Synapse's brother.
Yeah.
And so it breaks breaks his mind control, and Billy's able to come out. I thought that whole sequence was great. I like the return of Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Kessler in that scene.
Probably should have happened 6 episodes ago, though, right?
Should have happened the whole season. But I appreciate that. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's always welcome in my life.
Can I actually? Do you have anything else good?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going through it quick because there's not much. I do like Mother Milk's backstory. It's fucking leaps and bounds better than the comics, where his mom has titty tentacles and weird shit.
Yeah.
He nurses a pigeon back to health when he was younger, and people made fun of him for it, but he kept doing it, and the pigeon got out and whatever. I thought that was good. And I still think Oh Father is a great character. I really like the idea of them hosting a screening for Homelander's Journey to be God, the movie that's going to convert everyone. And you see that when Oh Father is told by Homelander to kind of execute everyone who doesn't believe in Homelander, that he's kind of just like, well, God told me to do that. But you can tell he's got morals. It's just he also is a very religious person that wants to follow Homelander. The last good thing that I'll say is, speaking of Oh Father, is I talked last week about how The Boys has great villains, but just great characters in general. What I really meant was that the motivation for a lot of characters in The Boys is always solid. And I think Sage in particular had a really great moment in this episode, when she kind of went into a little bit of why she is so distraught in her situation, which is basically that she can't predict human emotion and love, which is why she hates it, because it makes her feel useless
Inferior.
and
Yeah.
inferior. And I actually think that honestly, that's great writing. That's great writing for a character that I think has had their ups and downs in this season.
Yeah, the Taco Bell promotional mascot, you mean?
And I do think that was a very worthy reason for her to just fully join the boys and help them out. I think that's great. And then obviously there's one thing that we both agree on is great, but we're going to save that for the moments.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think this was a bad episode of The Boys. What I do think is that for the second to last episode of a series, this is terrible.
And that's what I was gonna say about all of your good moments. I'm so sorry to, like, rain on your parade here, but that
My
scene
parade's already drenched.
with, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Huey and Butcher, I have a major issue with because, again, we're in the second to last episode, and they're giving us scenes to give us more backstory on Butcher. At this point, we don't need backstory on Butcher,
No,
and it's
we do not.
a waste of time. You know he's done stuff in his past. I don't care that he has this, like, moral whatever to Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character. I'm just gonna keep calling him that.
Kessler.
Kessler, I don't care, and I think it's a waste of time, and I think that that whole interrogation room was literally just building up more backstory for Butcher. I don't care about that. Another moment you mentioned, was with Sister Sage,
Mhm.
and again, these moments are not bad. They're just not that she's not an important enough character, but that we should have learned this earlier.
Yes.
And I feel the same about the Oh Father screening. I think that Oh Father's been brought in new this season, right? And we spent quite a bit of time with him. In fact, in my opinion, too much screen time with a new character for the last season.
Mhm.
And one thing I always appreciated about the boys was the through line through all the seasons. And it seems like he's going to have a major part in Homelander's downfall. And I don't care we're at the moment.
Where's
where-
Ryan?
No, literally, where's Ryan? But the whole scene with like Oh Father and like the morals and the questioning, we knew this was going to happen. It was
Yeah.
being set up, and it's just a waste of screen time. And as much as I don't mind Oh Father, like you said, he's not a bad character. He would have been great in season 4. Should have stuck him back there. He could have, then we have Firecracker.
Get rid of
Firecracker.
Ezekiel.
That's what I'm saying.
Who even cares about that character?
And that's the whole point of all of this, for why I'm just ranting so harsh on this right now is because this is your second to last episode. This is a waste of screen time. I'm tired. I'm annoyed. Why are we even showing the Deep? This was also all leading up to Homelander obviously not caring about the Deep. We already knew that. And then he goes through like a strange humiliation ritual, and now he has like nothing. We get it. He's got nothing. I don't care.
He went
I don't
through
care.
this in season 2.
Why is he still alive?
Why is he still alive? In the second episode of this season, Homelander was about to kill the Deep just because he was annoyed and in a bad mood because he made a comment about Soldier Boy. And now he has no use for the Deep, and the Deep is being a little bitch and being like, "You fired me? Why'd you fire me, bro?" And he doesn't kill him. Like,
I'm over it.
listen, one of the issues that I've had with the show for a long time, and I had said this as we watched the show since it started, was that I felt like it constantly kept dragging out plot points that should have realistically ended very quickly. I don't want this show to be one season long, but it should have, because at the end of the day, Homelander should have reached his peak when he killed Madeline at the end of the first season. And I kept complaining that every season found a way to like tame him and like make sure he doesn't fully snap and fully whatever.
Until the end of season
And
3.
This applies to every aspect of the show in this last episode, where it's just everything feels dragged out. Why is the Deep still alive? Why are we influencing the same plot point that we did in season 2 with the Deep, where he just pathetic and lost everything? It reminded me of Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, where you spend so much time with his character arc only to have him just revert back to the same thing in the second to last episode and then die.
Yeah.
Spoiler for Game of Thrones. Well, like, it's so many things in this episode that felt like that. And the biggest thing for me is something that I struggled to defend this whole season, and I gave up on it, which is Soldier Boy. Listen, I agree
He's
with
fun.
you. I agree with you. Last week, you complained that there was so much setup for Vault Rising, and I was trying to defend it because I thought that it was entertaining enough and that they did some interesting things. But I can't defend it anymore. Soldier Boy hated Homelander, tried to kill him, randomly gave him the V1, and then decided, I'm just gonna peace out. And then Homelander chokes him out and throws him back into the cryo tank.
Off screen, by the way, all we see is him back in the cryo tank. You know what would have been great? A scene putting him in the cryo tank, and we could have cut out one of those other unnecessary scenes.
You know what would have been great for me? If Soldier Boy stuck to one thing. Does he
Yeah.
hate Homelander and want to defeat him, or does he want to help him? This season was so confused as to what they wanted to do with Soldier Boy, and I'm done defending it. This episode, to me, the way that they more than likely closed off Soldier Boy's arc for the boys was pathetic. I'm sorry, but that it's just a waste, just an absolute waste.
Can I go on my Gen V rant now?
Oh yes, because when I
Thank
saw
you.
that scene, I was like, Jasmine is gonna have some shit to say.
So finally, Gen V comes in. After 2 seasons of literally being wrapped around the plot of the boys, they show up just for Starlight to be like, "Go away," and then at the end of the episode, she's like, "You know what? Actually, don't go away.
Oh, we
Actually,
need your help.
oh, actually, we need your help." Mind you, it's only 2 of them. Um, Another thing, spoiler for Gen V, but Marie Moreau is meant to be one of the most like important and super powered beings, and that's why it was so upsetting to me when she wasn't in this season from the get-go, because they spent the entire second season prepping her to help defeat Homelander. So why is it that she's showing up at the last second with only one of her friends of the very many, and not and just to keep going on this quick little rant, both seasons of Gen V have been better seasons of television than, and I'll say it now because they are not wrapping this up in an hour, than The Boys season 5 and The Boys season 4, potentially The Boys season 2. Haven't watched it in a while, so I'm just saying, if you're rating this universe, they're pretty high up there to be thrown to the side and then to be canceled for the weird, like, Vault Rising thing, which I'm not. Listen, I'm interested in Vault Rising, but Gen V already was established, interesting, good, and the characters were fascinating. It did so much for building, and it upset me so much because it was wrapped up so much in the boys finale, and I was like, good, fine. If this is just meant to be like the in-between chapters, okay, great. Put them in then, because you can't keep the 2 books separate. It's not working for either series, and I'm just upset now that it's canceled because now we can't even bookend it.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
hurt because those characters, I'm not kidding when I tell you I care more about those characters than most of the characters in The Boys.
well, that's
You should
I
watch
was like
Gen V.
so on the same train as you, and then
No,
I
most of them,
just
not
feel
all of them, not all of them, but most, because you get to, because the series is that good, and I wish you would watch it because
But
you can
I
understand.
think The Boys was fine with characters, and honestly, I still think for the most part it is fine
Well,
with
I'm not
characters.
saying that it's not. I'm just saying that Gen V did such a good job with their characters. That's all.
Yeah. Well, either way, when that happened, I was like, Jasmine's gonna hate this because I hate it. Because in the last episode, I said I I don't need Gen V to be a part of this. I know that was a big debate that we had because from my perspective, whether I watch both, and again, I did watch the first season, and whether I watch both seasons of Gen V or not, my thing is just the boys is the boys, and I don't like when everything has to be a cinematic universe where when you have a clear like train of your story that you just want to stay as focused as possible. But if you are going to introduce them and bring them into the show, this is such a just disrespectful way of doing that
Yes, and I know that, like, they ultimately, like, had to change a lot of season 2 because
because
of
of Chance. Sorry, the guy that died. Um, I sorry. It's not
Chance.
funny.
No.
It's just funny because I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and well, I'm gonna compare it to something I compared to last week, where I said if Spider-Man popped up in Daredevil, I don't think it would make sense. However, if Spider-Man did pop up in Daredevil and all he did was pop up and been like, "Hey, Matt Murdock, can I help?" and he's like, "No," and he's like, "Oh," and then left, I would be like, "What
And then at
did
the
you
end
just do?"
and then at the end, he knocks on his door and says,
Actually, I need your help.
"Yeah, no. No. Absolutely
And
not.
that's what this show did with Gen V. So
At
listen,
that point, we should have just waited till the end of the episode and been like, "Hey, I need your help." Why even bring them in to be like, "No, you can't
right,
help."
exactly. And then I think people would have been excited because then it's like, oh, they're going to be involved in the final episode.
Yeah.
But they, oh God, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that that was terrible and stupid and just dumb and stupid.
Any last rants before we get into our moments?
Yes, I do. This is my big one that I was saving.
Here we go.
So I haven't watched the recaps in a long time. I don't know if I've ever really watched the recaps. I just did it because I was in the middle of doing something. And so I don't know if this is a new thing or if this is always how the boys recap has been, but it's just the bloodiest and like most disgusting moments where it's just
The
like
juvenile
a
humor.
previous episode of the boys and it's just people exploding, blood splatting everywhere. I'm like, so this is what the creators think the show is. It's
Yeah.
just the blood and whatever. And I'm
Yes, they
saying
are
that,
like that, by
yeah,
the way.
they all of the recaps.
Most of them.
That's
I
terrible.
haven't watched all of them, so I can't speak for all of them, but most of them are like that.
And I will say last week I said, does anyone enjoy these weird moments that the boys take, whatever.
The little
This
juvenile
one,
gross out humor moments?
yeah,
No.
I'm like, does anyone really enjoy this anymore? Especially in the final season when we're trying to wrap it up. And this has hit an absolute peak for me with the stupidest waste of time I have ever seen in worse than Game of Thrones' second to last episode. Why did we spend several minutes watching dog fucker, I don't even care what his fucking name is, sniffing She-Line's ass? It's not funny. It's not integral to the story. This is the second to last episode, guys. If you did this in the first season, it's okay. It's fine.
If you did this in the first episode of this season, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. This is the second to last episode. You're just wasting our time. And what I always say about movies and TV shows is like, my biggest thing of a movie or a TV show that I can say that I genuinely hate is when something wastes my time. This was wasting my time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This was just an absolute time waster. I was so annoyed by it. When they died, I didn't care either way. I was just like, who fucking cares? Just end this scene. I want to see what is happening with the story that we have been building up since season 1, not watching Dogman and Catwoman sniff each other's ass.
Yeah.
I If anyone found that funny, fine. Fair enough.
Who are they making this
but
show for?
who's this show for? I don't understand. And that's
Definitely not the fans.
that's the thing that like completely made me drop off of this episode. I was like, you're just wasting my time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna calm down now for the moments.
Yeah, so that's a great segue into my grossest moment because that was my grossest moment.
Really? You actually gave that? I was
Because
like, I'm not
hold on,
putting it anywhere.
my grossest moment because the showrunners think I want to see that is gross.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you very much.
Fair.
Not gross on the surface.
My grossest moment, honestly, just even saying this annoys me because it does have something to do with She-Line, but when she bit the rat's head off, I was just like,
Ew.
gross.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking get out of here.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't know why I thought she was already passed away.
No, her boy or whatever the guy's name was that she was with died from the virus.
Yeah. Let's talk about our funny, intense, and save emotional for last. I think that'll lead into our MMVP.
Yeah, exactly.
So, my funniest was all the Homelander Jesus stuff, not because I thought it was like funny, but because of the little production notes on the side.
Oh, yeah.
That was like VFX, remove cables. That was just giving me a chuckle the whole time.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the meta aspect of that. Thought that was funny. As a film nerd, cracked me up.
Yeah,
What about you?
that was good. I liked 2 quotes. I'm just gonna say both because I really don't know which one I found funnier. When Homelander says, "The greatest trick the devil ever
That's
pulled."
my quote. That's my
Oh,
quote.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you think nuts were milk.
And not only is that funny, but it's also a reference to one of my favorite movies, Usual Suspect. And the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making whatever.
And also
And-
because you drink nut milk. Well,
Well,
oat milk.
oat milk. It's just funny. It's just it was just clearly a funny moment. I thought it was funny the way
Delivered
they just
well.
randomly referenced the usual
Yeah.
suspects. And then the other one was the Soldier Boy quote where he's like,
You had a wet dream about some chick with big juicy tits. If that makes you a god, then I'm a fucking god every night.
No, that was true. And I like that. I thought that was funny too.
yeah, both of them made me laugh.
Well, good. We can skip our favorite quotes.
No, I have a different quote.
Oh,
No, because we're at what are we at? Most intense moment.
yeah. When
Well, my most intense moment is the same as emotional moment. So
Well, my most intense is actually Billy being berated by Synapse. I thought
Ooh.
that was quite intense.
Yeah.
Again, wish it was earlier.
yeah, I mean,
But if I'm looking at the episode as the episode, then that's it.
yeah.
Let's get into it.
Oh, real quick, my quote.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Your quote has to do with your emotional moment, right?
It does. How did you
So
know that?
you
Did you
just
see
said
my notes?
no. You just said that.
No, I said my most intense moment was with my emotional moment.
Well, why don't we talk about your quote, your intense,
Okay, my
and your
quote will lead
emotional
into
moment?
the
Yeah,
final ones. Okay.
come on.
So the quote was from Frenchie.
Oh boy.
No matter how I'm not gonna do the accent.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
In fact, there's probably a clip of it, so I'll probably just play it.
Yeah.
You see, no matter how smart you are, there's still mystery in the world. Isn't that wonderful?
That's gonna lead us to our most emotional and most intense moment because if there's one thing in this episode that was not only great but did actually feel like the second to last episode of the show was the ending of this episode.
With Frenchie.
This is gonna be our most intense moment, our most emotional moment, and our MVP.
Your most intense.
Oh, you have a most intense.
I told you my most intense.
My
Billy
most
being
intense.
berated.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
She did say
Let's
that.
talk.
And
Yeah,
I did listen.
but it's all about Frenchie. And I'm gonna let you kind of get into this one here because you already
'Cause
know.
you know that I love Frenchie as a
He's
character.
he's my MMVP. He's my most emotional moment. His death. So take it away.
Okay. This almost fully saved the episode for me. So they're experimenting on Kimiko to try to recreate Soldier Boy's power to take away Homelander's powers, take away the Compound V. And Sage helps, and so Sage, Frenchie, and Kimiko figure it out, and we just suddenly cut to a straight up horror movie.
Yeah.
Because we get a signal that says something is coming, they're flying. Oh fuck, it's Homelander. And it's only them three. None those three can't do anything with Homelander. Maybe Billy can, but these three can't. Homelander arrives, and this is a straight up horror movie. Kimiko and Sage hide in the zinc vent. Frenchie puts them in there, and Frenchie says, I'm gonna go hide somewhere else. And we get some scary footsteps from Homelander. And then when he's smart, he looks at the zinc vent because he knows that's obviously where they're gonna hide, where I can't see through. And Frenchie taps the wall, and Homelander just appears right there. And I was like, no, Frenchie's gonna die. Um, Frenchie traps him in the radiation. He tricks him again, traps him in the radiation, and has a very defiant moment where he flips off Homelander and he says something that broke my heart because it was just so Frenchy.
I bet you never danced a day in your life.
And that's just to show that Homelander, as much as he is just on a crusade to be God, he has never and will never enjoy his life.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate sad and pathetic thing about Homelander. And
He'll-
Frenchie nailed it.
Yeah.
He said to suck these nuts, and then off screen, Homelander lasers his nuts. Which shockingly not many people are really talking about. When we find Frenchie bleeding out, he's holding his nuts and there's
But
blood
it's also
coming.
his stomach. It's his intestines too.
I mean, his hand is by his crotch. I really think that it was kind of obvious to me. I was very shocked that no one really brought it up.
Yeah, because I don't think I saw more of the guts in the stomach. But we'll look into it. We'll
check
do
the
some
tapes.
research.
Check
Yeah.
the tapes over here. Well, he said suck my nuts or suck my hair.
Yeah, no, it would make sense. It would
so
make
makes
sense.
But Yeah, he was gonna die anyway from the radiation, and that's probably ultimately what did kill him because he released the radiation to basically show Homelander that you're still mortal.
Yeah.
This is still affecting you. His face starts to get fucked
Yeah.
up again.
He's like, "Look at you."
Yeah. And Kimiko cradles him, and there's no music, and we just watch Frenchie die.
Yeah.
Um,
And that would've been a great ending to an episode that should have had a lot better stuff before it.
right. But it was, like I said, the one thing that made me feel like it is the actual ending second to because
Yeah.
because then Billy, everyone comes in, everyone converges. Mother's
And they're all
Milk,
like, "Oh my
Starlight,
god."
Billy, Huey.
Yeah.
And you really get the idea that this is going to motivate everyone to finish this job and
Yeah.
to put Homelander down.
Mhm.
Now, I am surprised in a good way that they chose Frenchie because the name of the episode is The Frenchman, the woman, and the one they call Mother's Milk. So you would just think that all three of them are going to die. And in the comics, Billy kills all three of them. And so I am really happy with the way that they actually handled this because if you're going to kill anyone in this to motivate everyone, it's got to be Frenchie, who has always been the glue of the
Yeah.
group.
The heart.
Yeah.
The soft one.
The one that is hardened but always kind of finds a way to bring everyone back down to earth and ground people. I said that in episode 3, no, episode 4
Yeah.
when they were all possessed by the soup. He was the one that brought everyone back. And so I think it was very smart to choose him. Mother's Milk is alive, and I do think now he is going to actually have a very happy ending. Kimiko is alive. I think she is probably going to be integral to stripping Homelander's powers. And I think the only one that is going to die now is Billy
Yeah. And that'd be okay.
because he's terrible.
Yeah. But you know what? I feel like this is a good way to lean into my tattoo.
Oh,
My tattoo would be Monka. Just written out real cute and soft and sad.
yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
You know I like my silhouettes, so I'm gonna do a silhouette of, him and Kimiko mid-dance.
Dance. Oh, like La La Land.
Like La La Land, yeah, I did the
Yeah,
La La
look
Land
at
pose, you saw
you.
that, right?
Uh,
Yeah, so
so what's next? I'll tell you what I think is next, and then you tell me what you think is next. What I think is next, just summed up, is we get a rushed and bad finale.
yep.
Oh, you too? Awesome.
I mean, just to make it a little interesting, like, listen, I think the most satisfying thing for me has always been Homelander losing his powers and not dying, because I just think just imagine the final scene being Huey visiting Homelander in prison with no powers and just telling him like, "Look how small you are now," something like that. Like that just to me just means so much more than him dying. But I don't trust these writers, unfortunately, anymore. I
Yeah.
don't trust Eric Kripke to finish the show correctly.
And I mean, I've had a lot of people say to me that they think we shouldn't have trusted the supernatural writers anyway because they messed up their ending too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fair enough. But I also want to say real quick, we're not complete cynics. We would love to be wrong.
Oh, of course I would love to
I
be wrong.
I just don't see a path out at this point.
Yeah.
Could be totally wrong on that too. Would love to be. Would love if we got a great finale.
Yeah, same.
But based on what the writers think we want to see, based on what we have seen in these past few episodes, I think we're heading towards a Stranger Things level disappointment finale.
Yeah, and I would say I would say more Stranger Things than Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones to me felt like the writers just gave up.
Yeah.
Like they were hired to do Star Wars, they didn't have an ending from the beginning, they gave up. I don't think they're giving up. I just think they're misunderstanding what we all loved about the show.
Yes.
And so I don't I would love to see Homelander lose his powers. I would love to see Billy Butcher lose his life. I think it it would make more sense and be more satisfying if Soldier Boy was the one that stripped the Compound V, but that's also not going to happen anymore. And I don't know. I think that at this point we're going to have everyone survive. I think even the Deep is going to survive.
I know he's gonna be working at like SeaWorld.
Yeah, something stupid. I think Ashley's going to survive and just get arrested. And I think I don't even know what would happen to Sister Sage. I think
Who
she
cares?
would die. Maybe she would sacrifice. Listen. I was so excited to come up with theories throughout this whole thing, but I don't like to come up with theories of just what I want. I like to come up with theories about what I think it will happen. And at this point, I don't really want to think what will happen because
Yeah.
I just don't trust the writers to give a satisfying ending, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they're like, nope, we're turning everything around. This was the plan from the beginning, and this finale is going to be incredible. I hope so. And if the finale was over an hour and 5 minutes, I would be confident that that would be the case. But
It's not.
we'll see.
Your computer's telling us it's time to wrap
Yeah,
it up.
saying shut up.
And on that note, thank you so much for watching. Leave comments, tell us how wrong, how right we are. We love to hear from anyone watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, thank you so much. And, if you come across a one wish willow, be careful what you wish for. I might use this to wish for a Good Boys finale. Is that what you were going to say? I'm Jasmine.
I'm Jason.
Thank you for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our full episode on Spotify at X-Rated Films, where we get into all things spoiler-free, spoiler, our fun movie moments, our movie tattoo ideas, and movie matchmaker, all on Spotify. Thanks again for watching, and please subscribe.